Chapter 17 of Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda. I have to meet him. I don't think I can keep this up. I don't care if it ruins everything. I'm this close to making out with my laptop screen. Blue, 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 blue. Seriously, I feel like I'm about to combust. I spend the entire school day with my stomach in knots, and it's completely pointless because it's not attached to anything real. Because really, it's just words on a screen. I don't even know his freaking name. I think I'm a little bit in love with him. All through rehearsal, I stare at Cal Price, hoping he'll fuck it up somehow and give me some sort of clue. Something. Anything. He pulls out a book, and my eyes go straight to the author's name on the cover, because maybe the book is by freaking Casanova, and I only know one person who owns a book by freaking Casanova. But it's Fahrenheit 451. Probably something for English class. I mean, how does a person look when his walls are coming down? Really, a lot of people are having trouble focusing today because everyone's obsessed with this sophomore who snuck into the chem lab and got his junk stuck in a beaker. I don't even know. Apparently it was on the Tumblr, but I guess Miss Albright is sick of hearing about it, so she lets us out early. Which means it's actually still light out when I pull into the driveway. Bieber pretty much explodes with joy when he sees me. It looks like I'm the first one home. I sort of want to know where Nora is. The fact that she's out is highly freaking unusual, to be honest. I'm feeling so restless, I don't even want a snack, not even Oreos. I can't just sit around. I text Nick to see what he's up to, even though I know he's playing video games in the basement because that's what he always does in the afternoon until soccer season starts. He says Leah's on her way over, so I hook Bieber onto his leash and lock the door behind us. Leah is pulling to the driveway when we get there. She slides her window down and calls to Bieber, who naturally breaks away from me to jump up against her car. "Hello, sweet one," she says. His paws rest on the frame of her car door, and he gives her a single polite lick. "Are you just getting off rehearsal?" she asks as we walk around the path to Nick's basement door. "Yeah." I turn the doorknob and push the door open. "Bieber, no! Come on!" Like he's never seen a squirrel before. Good freaking lord. Geez, so what? It's 2 hours a day, 3 days a week? 4 days a week now, I say, every day but Friday. And we have an all-day rehearsal this Saturday. Wow, she says. Nick shuts off the TV when we enter. "Assassin's Creed?" asks Leah, nodding toward the blank screen. "Yep," says Nick. "Awesome," she says. I just kind of shrug. I give precisely 0 shits about video games. I lie on the carpet next to Bieber, who is on his back looking absurd with his lips flapped up over his gums. Nick and Leah end up talking about Doctor Who, and Leah tucks into the video game chair, tugging the frayed hem of her jeans. Her cheeks are sort of pink behind her freckles, and she's making some point and getting really animated about it. They're both totally absorbed in the philosophy of time travel, so I let my eyes slide closed, and I think about Blue. Okay, I have a crush. But it's not like having a crush on some random musician or actor or Harry friggin' Potter. This is the real deal. It has to be. It's almost debilitating. I mean, I'm lying here on Nick's basement carpet, the site of so many Power Rangers transformations and lightsaber battles and spilled cups of juice, and all I want in the entire world is for Blue's next email to arrive. And Nick and Leah are still talking about the freaking TARDIS. They don't have a clue. They don't even know I'm gay. The TARDIS is awesome. And I don't know what to do about this. Ever since I told Abby on Friday, I kind of thought it would be easy to tell Leah and Nick. Easier, anyway, now that my mouth is used to saying the words. It's not easier. It's impossible. Because even though it feels like I've known Abby forever, I only really met her 4 months ago. And I guess there hasn't been time for her to have any set ideas about me yet. But I've known Leah since 6th grade, and Nick since we were 4. And this gay thing, it feels so big, almost insurmountable. I don't know how to tell them something like this and still come out of it feeling like Simon. Because if Leah and Nick don't recognize me, I don't even recognize myself anymore. My phone buzzes. A text from Monkey's asshole. "Hey, maybe another Waffle House thing soon?" I ignore it. I hate feeling so distant from Nick and Leah. It's not like keeping a normal crush a secret because we never talk about our crushes anyway, and it works out fine. Even Leah's crush on Nick. I see it, and I'm sure Nick sees it, but there's this unspoken agreement that we never talk about it. I don't know why the gay thing isn't like that. I don't know why keeping it from them makes me feel like I'm living a secret life. My phone starts vibrating, and it's my dad calling, which probably means dinner is on the table. I hate that I feel so relieved. I really am going to tell Nick and Leah eventually. I spend the first day of Christmas break at school. Everyone sits in a circle on stage in pajamas, eating donut holes and drinking coffee out of styrofoam cups. Except I'm next to Abby at the edge of the stage. My feet dangle over the orchestra pit, and her legs are in my lap. My fingers are sticky with powdered sugar. I feel so far away. I stare at the bricks. Some of the bricks on the back wall of the auditorium are a darker shade, almost brown, and they form this double helix design. It's just so random, but so weirdly deliberate. Double helixes are interesting. Deoxyribonucleic acid. I'll think about that. Not trying to think about something is like playing freaking whack-a-mole. Every time you push one thought down, another nudges its way to the surface. I guess there are two moles. One is the fact that I've hung out with Nick and Leah after rehearsal 3 days this week, which means 3 chances to tell them about the gay thing, and 3 times wussing out. And then there's Blue, with his perfect grammar, who has no freaking clue how many times I proofread every email I send him. Blue, who is so guarded and yet so surprisingly flirtatious sometimes, who thinks about sex and thinks about it with me. But you know, double helixes, twisty, loopy, double helixes. Martin walks in through the doors in the back of the auditorium. He's wearing a long, old-fashioned nightgown and curlers. Oh, wow. He really... Okay. Abby nods, grinning up at Martin, who does a pirouette and immediately gets entangled in his nightgown. But he catches himself on the armrest of a chair and gives this triumphant smile. That's Martin. Everything's part of the show with him. Miss Albright joins the circle on stage and calls us to order. Abby and I scoot in closer to the group. I end up next to Martin and flash him a smile. He punches my arm lightly, but keeps his eyes locked forward like a T-ball dad. A T-ball dad who dresses like my grandma. So here's the plan, Pajama Gang, says Miss Albright. We're going to fine-tune the musical numbers this morning. Big ensemble numbers first, and then we'll split into smaller groups. We break for pizza at noon, and after that we run through the whole caboodle. Over her shoulder, I see Cal sitting on a platform, writing something in the margin of a script. Any questions? She asks. For those who are already off book, should we still carry our scripts to take notes? Asked Taylor, just making sure we know she's memorized her lines. This morning, yes. This afternoon, no. We'll go through the notes after we're done. I'd like to run both acts once without stopping. Obviously, it'll be messy, and that's okay. She yawns. All right, so let's take 5, and then we'll jump into food, glorious food. I pull myself up, and before I can talk myself out of it, I walk over and sit beside Cal on his platform. I nudge him in the knee. Nice polka dots, I say. He smiles. Nice Labradors. I mean it, he's cute, so I let it slide, but the dogs on my pants are clearly golden retrievers. I sneak a look at his script. What are you drawing? Oh, this? I don't know, he says. He pushes his bangs back and blushes, and good God, he's adorable. I didn't know you could draw. Sort of, he shrugs and tilts the binder towards me. He has this style of drawing that's all movement and sharp angles and bold pencil lines. It's not bad. Leah's drawings are better, but it hardly matters at all because the important thing is that Cal's drawing is of a superhero. I mean, a superhero. My heart almost squeezes to a stop. Blue loves superheroes. Blue. I slide an inch closer so our legs are touching, just barely. I'm not sure if he notices. I don't know why I'm so brave today. I'm 99.9% sure that Cal is blue. But there's that fraction of a % chance that he's not. For some reason, I can't seem to come out and ask him. So instead, I ask, how's the coffee? Pretty good, Simon. Pretty good. I look up and realize that Abby is watching me with great interest. I flash her the stink eye and she looks away, but she still has this tiny knowing smile that just kills me. Miss Albright sends a bunch of us to the music room and puts Cal in charge. All things considered, it's a perfect situation. To get there, we have to walk all the way past math and science classrooms and down the back stairway. Everything is dark and spooky and awesome on Saturday. The school is totally empty. The music room is tucked into its own alcove at the end of the hall downstairs. I used to do choir, so I've spent some time there. It hasn't changed. I get the impression that it hasn't changed in about 20 years. There are 3 rows of chairs on built-in platforms that edge around the sides of the classroom and split in a split hexagon shape. In the corner of the room is a wooden upright piano. There's a laminated sign taped to the front reminding us to have outstanding posture. Cal sits on the edge of the piano bench, stretching his arm back behind his head. So, maybe we could start with consider yourself or pick a pocket or two, he says, shuffling his foot against the leg of the piano bench. He looks so lost. Martin attempts to transfer one of his curlers onto Abby's ponytail, and Abby stabs him in the gut with a wooden drumstick, and a couple of people have taken out the guitars and started plucking out random pop songs. No one is really listening to Cal except me. Well, and Taylor. Do you want us to clear away the music stands? I ask. Yeah, that would be awesome, he says. Thanks, y'all. There's a piece of paper on one of the stands that catches my eye, neon orange, with the words, Set List, written in black Sharpie. Under that is a list of songs, classic awesome songs like Somebody to Love and Billie Jean. What's that? Asks Taylor. I shrug, handing it to her. I don't think it's supposed to be here, she says, throwing it away. Of course she doesn't. Taylor's the enemy of everything awesome. Cal has Miss Albright's laptop, which has piano recordings of the accompaniment to all the songs. Everyone's a pretty good sport about running through everything once, and it's not a total disaster. As much as I hate to admit it, Taylor probably has the best voice out of anyone in the school, other than Nick, and Abby is such a good dancer that she can seriously carry the whole ensemble. Anything Martin touches is strange and absurd and hilarious, especially when he's wearing a nightie. There's still almost an hour before we're supposed to reconvene in the auditorium, and we're probably supposed to run through everything again, but I mean, really. It's Saturday, we're in an empty, dark school, and we're a bunch of theater kids wearing pajamas and jacked up on donuts. We end up singing Disney songs in the stairwell. Abby weirdly knows every word to every song in Pocahontas, and knows The Lion King and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. Taylor can improvise harmonies, and I guess we're all warmed up from singing the Oliver songs, because it just sounds really amazing. And the acoustics in the stairwell are freaking awesome. And then we go back upstairs, and Mila Odom and Eve Miller pull a bunch of rolling chairs out of the computer lab. It's pretty convenient that Creekwood has such long, straight hallways. Perfect happiness is gripping the bottom of a rolling chair with both hands while Cal Price pushes me down the hall in a full-on run. We race against 2 of the sophomore girls from the ensemble. Cal is kind of a slow-moving person, so they totally dominate, but I don't even care. His hands grip my shoulders, and we're both laughing, and the rows of lockers are a toothpaste blue blur. I let down my legs, and we skid to a stop, and I guess I have to get up. I raise my hand to give Cal a high five, but instead, he threads his fingers through mine for just a second. Then he looks down and smiles, and his eyes are hidden by his bangs. We untangle our hands, and my heart is thudding. I have to look away from him. Then Taylor, of all people, mounts one of the chairs. Her blonde hair flies backward as Abby pushes her, and they're the indisputable champions. Abby and her leg muscles, I guess. I had no idea she was so freaking fast. Abby collapses into me, laughing and panting, and we slide to the floor against the lockers. She leans her head on my shoulder, and I slide my arm around her back. Leah can get weird about touching, and it's this unspoken thing that I don't really touch Nick. But Abby's a huggy person, and I sort of am too, so that's been nice. And everything has just felt really natural and comfortable between us since that night in the car after the Waffle House. It's pretty cozy sitting next to Abby and smelling her magical French toast scent while we watch the freshmen take turns racing in the chairs. Abby and I sit like that for so long that my arm starts to prickle. But it isn't until we're finally about to head back to the auditorium that I realize 2 people have been watching us. The first is Cal. The second is Martin, and he looks pretty goddamn furious. Spear, we need to talk. Martin pulls me into a stairwell. Now? Because Miss Albright wants us to. Yeah, Miss Albright can fucking wait a second. Okay, what's up? I lean against the railing and look up at him. The stairwell is dark, but my eyes are pretty well adjusted, and I can see the tension in Martin's jaw. He stops and waits until the others are too far down the hall to overhear. So I guess you think this is all hilarious, he says under his breath. What? He doesn't elaborate. I have no freaking clue what you're talking about, I say finally. Right, of course not. Martin crosses his arms in front of his chest and tugs on his elbow, and he just radiates the stink eye. Marty, seriously, I don't know why you're upset. If you want to fill me in, great. Otherwise, I don't really know what to tell you. He exhales loudly and leans into the railing. You're trying to humiliate me, and believe me, I get it. I get that you weren't 100% on board with our arrangement. Our arrangement? You mean you blackmailing me? Yeah, I'm not on board with being blackmailed, if that's what you're wondering. You think I'm fucking blackmailing you. What the hell else would you call it? I say. But it's funny, I'm not really pissed off at him. I'm a little bewildered at the moment, but not angry. Look, it's over. The Abby thing is done, okay? So you can forget about the whole goddamn thing. I pause. Something happened with Abby? Yes, something fucking happened with Abby. She fucking rejected me. What? When? Martin stands abruptly, his face flushed. Roughly 5 minutes before she draped herself all over you, he says. What? Yeah, that's not what... You know what? Save it, Spear. Actually, you know what you can do? You can tell Miss Albright I'll see her in fucking January. You leaving? I ask. I seriously don't know what the hell is happening. He flips the bird as he walks away. He doesn't even turn around to look at me. Martin, are you... Merry goddamn Christmas, Simon, he says. Hope you're happy. End of chapter 17.